What's up, YouTube? This is NQ Scalper Mom coming at you with another trading recap for Monday, July the 28th, 2025. Get right into it. As I'm looking for pullback trades off of key entry points such as the 20th moving average, 100, the 200, or the 9 exponential moving average, and perhaps even the VWAP. I do like to take those pullback trades. This is what we had for today. All right, this is our 8:30 point here, or 9:30 for those of you on the East Coast. And we just kind of went back and forth, chopped along, no real direction established. We did make this huge rejection of the bottom of the range. This is what kind of caught my eye. This could have been a trade, although I find that the risk probably would have been too much on this trade. I waited, didn't make any moves off of that. Waited for this next bar. This next bar also penetrated the 100 simple moving average as well as the 20 simple moving average. This would have been a decent trade, and it's green. If that had gone above here, I could have taken this trade and used this bar as the risk. Again, we even got a better entry here. We still got penetration of the 20 and the 100. So I decided this would be my entry going back up. This was the entry here, and we did immediately get 1-to-1. And now that I look at it, it looks like we would have gotten 2-to-1 as well, but apparently we didn't get that. I think what happened is I still had my risk based on this bar at the time of the trade. So I think I had the 2-to-1 a little bit over here, or at least higher than this. I think that's what happened, because this went all the way up, or it may have happened so fast that I just didn't have it up here yet. I'm really not quite sure exactly how that happened. But as we could see on the next bar, we did come down and tap my entry, because I do move, once I obtain the first target, which is 1R, I do move my stop to break even. So I did stop out at break even. This is pretty much what I got, at $23.92. That was using the 2 micro trades, the 2 micro NQs. And that's me following my rules. Right now, I'm under a strict guidance of my trading coach, who has me on this strict protocol just to exercise and strengthen my discipline and my focus on just a particular setup, doing a particular thing day in, day out, get me to focus more on process rather than on profits. That's what I did. Before we jump to my Tradezella, I just wanted to share this with you all, because I'm finished so early. I still got a chance to watch the charts. I couldn't take any more trades myself, but this is something I noticed and I wanted to bring to y'all's attention. Now, I do pay attention to initial balance theory. The initial balance is basically looking at the range from the first hour of trading. That would be the range all the way from here to here. And so even after my trade was done, notice here, this range was being established up here. And this is the whole hour here, but I can still use this framework for the rest of the day. Basically, we had a rejection there, and of course, it's not even formed yet, but you could tell it already started to reject even before then. We were rejecting whatever upper range had even been established. When you have that failed auction like that, then what you're basically potentially looking at is it to go all the way down to the lower end of the range. So that really made a great setup for this VWAP trade with confluence with the overnight open. This is the overnight open. This is what the open would have been on prior evening, Sunday evening. This is where we opened. That's a lot of confluence with the VWAP. It stopped, and of course we already had the rejection there. If I had taken one contract micro contracts entered below here, going all the way down to the end. I think I had already tried to do it. That would have been, and I can put it in ticks, $92. $92 for one contract, one micro contract, and that would have been whatever it was for times 2, maybe $180, or times 3 micro contracts, $270. That was interesting for me to observe since I'm not actively trading the whole day. That was interesting for me to observe, and that's something that I learned from Joey Morgan. I wanted to share that with you all, and I like to have it up on my chart as a framework to look at structure, but now I was able to actually see how you can really take it and trade with it. Of course, I didn't do that. I had my one and done trade because one of my rules is if I do win the first trade, which I didn't get the 2R, but I did get the 1R, then I will not take another trade. That is exactly what happened. Let's go ahead and look at my Tradezella, because journaling is so important to collect your data. Let's go to the right date. Okay. Monday, July 28th. And let's go to the trades so I can look at my trade. Here it is, my long trade for $23.92, but that's okay because I'm focusing on process and not profits. So looking at the trade, we have it here on the Tradezella chart, which is great. And if I want to, I can annotate it again on this chart. This was my entry here. And I don't have the 100 on it. I don't think it's showing up. Tradezella is so persnickety because it's not going to show the 100 moving average until you get 100 bars. So it's not going to show until right here. But on my continuous type chart, but for my NinjaTrader charts, it will show me VWAP. It will show me the 100 moving average, even though we don't have 100 bars, because it's been counting the bars all night. It continuously does that, but these charts don't. Let's just do my little annotation here so I can attach it, show you all that, and encourage you to do these annotations on your charts. So when you come back and look at your stats, you have a nice chart to look back at as well. I'm just going to say 2100 bounce because that's what we had. And I can put on here, it was a long position. I got in on this green bar and should have gone all the way up to 2-to-1. Okay, let's see if I use this bar. See, if I use this bar, then yeah, it would have been, I would have won. That was my 1-to-1 where I got out. That worked out. So I like to annotate that. That was my 1R. This was my 2R based on the first one I had. And actually, that wouldn't have been a good one anyway because it would have been outside of that range. And I think it would have been hard to get us outside of that range. But I would have had to go all the way up here for 2R based on that. That is what happened. I ended up getting stopped out right here. Now I at least have a picture that I can attach. I'm going to write a few things about this. 1R target hit, moved, stop to break even, stopped out at break even. Stopped out at break even. I entered here and then I exited here, but first I exited my here. What I can do now is copy this picture and I can go ahead and put it in my trade notes, and I will also put it in my daily journal. Put it there and we'll fill that out. And then I'll be pretty much done with my daily report card. Put it underneath here. All right, so I have my daily journal set up where as soon as I mark that trade as reviewed, so as soon as I open it up for the day, all of this already populates, and you can set it for whatever template you want to populate when you first put in your daily report card or whatever you call it, daily journal, because really this daily journal would only be an overall review of my day, because eventually I'll have more than one trade likely, but it's really based on my goals for what I'm doing right now. Eventually, these might be my goals per account or something similar, maybe per account or per groups of account. If I'm copy trading groups of account, maybe I'm copy trading 3 groups of account. I could see myself maybe taking something like 3 trades, be limiting myself to 3 trades per day, and maybe using 5 micro contracts, maybe stopping after a certain amount. But anyway, that's for the future. But I want to show you all the difference between a daily journal note, which focuses on the overall, versus a trade note, which focuses on that one particular trade. Now, I would probably still put all of my pictures in this note too, because I do send this note to my coach. That way he has a picture of everything. And plus, I would still put it in my individual trade note, because that's important when you go and tag your trades so that Tradezella can keep up with your statistics. And that reminds me, I got to go back because I did not tag this trade, and that's what I need to do. Tagging the trade, the simple tag, it was basically 2 different setups there. And do I have a 100 bounce here? Not. If you don't have it already tagged, you can just go ahead and write it in really quickly. Tradezella makes everything so easy. 100 bounce, I can just write it in. Mistakes, I don't think I made any mistakes. Whether my stop loss, where I put this stop loss is really not set. Obviously, I wasn't going to take the trade based on this signal bar. And sometimes I do like to err on the side of caution and use the lower low for the stop. With this one, maybe it bit me because that meant my target was farther away. So that's something I'll have to look at, but I wouldn't count that as a mistake. So I have it tagged there. So now I need to put my playbook here. So my playbook would be that. Do I not have this as a playbook? The 100? All right, let's add playbook. I thought I had this as a playbook. So I can add playbook. Let's go to playbooks. I thought I had the 100 on here as a playbook, but I don't see it. I guess I didn't. So let's create a new playbook. 100 SMA bounce. Price bounces from 100 SMA. So let's go back to this trade. It's not being listed. Let's refresh. Sometimes you have to refresh with Tradezella if you add something new. Add playbook. There it is. So now we can go ahead and go back to my journal entry. Daily report card, Monday, 7/28/25. Traded only 1 account. Check. Only traded 2 micros. No adding. Check. Followed my entry criteria. Check. Followed my exit criteria. So yes, first contract at 1R, bring stop to break even. Exit second contract at 2R. That's what I did. If first trade wins, stop with 1 trade for the day and done. So that's what I did. I did have green on the first trade, so I had to stop. Only 2 trades allowed. Check. So let's look at my after trade, after the close reflection. What I improved upon today. I don't know that I improved upon anything today. I'll just say that I had my automated strategy ready to go. Changes I need to make going forward. I think I need to adjust my risk reward tool to start at 1R. I needed to start at 1R because I think I have it at 2R, and then I have to go and change it, and that may be causing some issues. Okay, easiest money trade of the day. I'm going to say the easiest money trade of the day was this beautiful VWAP bounce. either this one or this one, these beautiful VWAP bounces after the initial balance. So to me, these were so good because you had rejection, rejection, rejection. Because really, this was still chop. And this was just beautiful, y'all. We had reason to believe that we were going to stay in this range of the initial balance for a while. We hit this VWAP and we came on down. You could take this to the midpoint, take it to the midpoint there. That would have been probably my first trade. And I'm sure you could find some other entries like here. You have a nice range and breakout here. So that could have been something else. But to me, that just seems to be so clean. What else did we have? Yeah, we had this, but it wasn't as clean because your point here wasn't really into the 100 moving average. Eventually it did get into the 100 moving average. That would have been a nice trade too, I think. So let's see, what are we going to put for that? I just think the VWAP bounce was so clean after the initial balance. So I'm going to say VWAP bounce because at that point the market wasn't as choppy. All right, overview. How did I do? I think I did great following the rules. I only took one trade, and that was the 100 bounce, and I only used 2 micros. I think it was a great day overall. Thanks so much for joining me. Please, if you found any value, please like and subscribe the video. And of course, if you'd like to help support the channel, please consider using my AAA, which is Apex discount code. I appreciate you all. Continue to trade well and trade safely this week, and I'll catch you on the next video.